All right. Well, welcome everybody to our podcast, Mortgage Matters, with the Gali Lama, me, Chris Gali. And today I am so pumped, Dawn, that we have you on as a guest. I'm so excited for Dawn because I just met Dawn, 2 months ago now? 3 months ago?
2.5,
yeah, 3 months
not
ago.
long.
And it's such an awesome story, which we're going to get into that as well on what transpired on that first meeting and our first transaction. But more important is your story, you know, and how you came. I'm always intrigued on how people got here to Lakewood Ranch or Sarasota area, Southwest Florida. Because we all have our own journeys to get here. And it's almost like the Wild West, right?
Yeah.
You come down here, you got to put your flag in the ground, and everyone else is trying to put a stake in the ground. And your story is so compelling because you went from a whole separate industry to real estate, and you just kind of took your skill set and what you did in the corporate world and kind of took over here on this side of it. So you guys are in for a real treat today to hear from Dawn, and we're going to talk a little bit about real estate. We're going to talk a little bit about life. We're going to talk a little bit about that journey from Maryland all the way down here to paradise, I call it. And I think
I call it the same thing. It's a wild ride. I was looking at this itinerary when you sent it over last night, and it just took me back. You know, it brought tears to my eyes, actually, because I was just like, wow, like what a journey. Like I never really stop and think about my entire life, and it's like it's literally has transformed. And it's one of those things, if you didn't know, you didn't know, you know what I mean? And if you knew, you knew. But looking to where I was 10, 12, 13 years ago to where I am today,
you wouldn't change it.
I wouldn't change any of it. And hopefully we'll get into that later, but I really wouldn't change any of it because it made me who I am today. And I love my life today. I love me today. I never thought I would say that, you know? Like I just truly and genuinely do. So it's been a wild ride.
In your life too, right? It's definitely, you know, living here is a lifestyle. You know, I feel my friends up north right now, they've had a couple good weekends, but it rained like 18 weekends in a row. I just remember how depressed I was. Like I didn't realize how depressed I was until living here for the last 7 years. I didn't live life. I was kind of in this hamster wheel, and your story sounds a lot similar to mine. It says, and you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
I kind of had a head start because I went to high school down here in Southwest Florida. So I went to Clearwater. Moved to Clearwater my junior year. So I tasted what this lifestyle was down here. Right. But I was trying to sell it to my wife for a long time.
And she wasn't buying for a while.
She's like, hey, we go on vacation there. There's alligators, there's snakes, there's this, there's that. And it's like, I think there's more varmint up there with the mosquitoes and the bugs. I'm like, guys, you don't know.
There's a lot of truth into that. I mean, I believed my whole life that Florida was just hot and old people. Like, that's what I was taught.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about the Gulf Coast.
Correct.
Never came here my whole life. And what I realized is summer's really not any hotter than up there. Winters are 1,000 times more enjoyable than up there. It's not all old people. And who knew you could get, like, beautiful beaches, like island beaches, and still live in the States? I'm like, well, it was a trifecta, and so then I started working on that.
and I think too, and we'll get into this with the businesses now that, especially through COVID, everybody can work remote. So you have so many other people moving here that are working from, you know, wherever their home state is in New York or New Jersey. We're seeing a lot of that now here on the East Coast, and on the West Coast, and you're going to probably dive into I want to know a little bit about the demographic of your clients that you're seeing and you're working with and stuff like that. So you guys are in for a treat. One of the top, and the most recently that I met, the most badass realtor. I'm going to just say that. It's my only swear for the whole podcast. But meeting you and your partner, Jennifer, was amazing. We met about 3 months ago, 2.5 months ago. We did a caravan of homes. So one of the things we try to do is how can we help agents not only help their listings and their business that they have, but how can we help them just get more business? And we put on this caravan of homes where we did Lakewood Ranch. We went to Lakewood Ranch, and we had, I think it was 6 or 7.
Yeah, 7. I think it was about 7. Yeah,
7 listings we went to. And the funny thing is that we went to this one house in Lakewood National, and the guy had the wrong price on it. He said it was like $340 for this coach home, which I know are like
Was that
500,000,
500,
and I'm
They
like,
put the
oh
wrong-
my
yeah.
word, I got a buyer for this right
now,
now,
I
and
know.
they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, for 350, why are they selling this? They're like, whoa, that's an error. But you being on top of your game, right?
Yep, and Jennifer, yep.
And Jennifer, you guys were like, wait a minute, we have one that's either was just going on the market.
Had been on the market for like a couple weeks, but the price point was so incredible.
Correct.
And it was a condo, but it was the same concept. And you're like, well, I might have a client. And we were like, well, we might have a place. And it just kind of like, it was very organic. It was very,
Correct.
and it gave us an opportunity to work together.
Correct.
And I like your style. So that
Yeah.
like, it's kind of grown from there.
And that was kind of, it's hard to know how someone works, right? And I like the way right off of the bat, because I work with a lot of agents, like some that I choose to work with and some that I
Fall
kind of
into
have to
to
work
it
with,
with,
right?
right.
And what I find is in this industry is someone that has the professionalism to understand that you're going to do whatever it takes to win, keep the client out of that part of it, right? Like, how do you keep them isolated from the pains of the business in a sense, right? And know
Yep.
that we're working as a team,
Right.
to get these. We both have that common thread, right?
Right.
It's not, the common thing I hear is I never heard of that happening, and I look up some numbers and I see they've only closed 2 or 3 deals
right.
in a year, and I'm like, of course you
So
haven't had
heard of
that.
that, right?
So you going in and only being in the business for 20 months,
Yeah.
and being new here for 20 months, not even 2
No,
years.
Yeah, came from knew nothing coming down here.
And then
you built it.
You went into the real estate company that you're with, and then and I've always see you guys because they post the top 10 in their
Yeah.
office every month. You guys are all been on there
We've hit it several times.
several times now,
Yeah.
but that's because of your work ethic. So let's start. I want to start from the very beginning.
Okay.
I want to start from Maryland. You lived there. You grow up there. You created a great. I don't want to say business because you didn't own the business, but you a great career in the corporate world. Like you crushed it, completely crushed it, and then you
Relocate it.
relocated, but reinvented yourself in a sense at the same time, right?
Yeah, I really did. I really, really did. It was a dream. I mean, growing up in Maryland, when I think about it, Maryland is like 4 seasons.
Correct.
You got the blue crabs, you got your mountains, you got your ocean. I mean, it was a great state to grow up in.
Yeah.
It really, really was. Maryland, I guess in a sense, will always be my home. It's where I started.
Yeah.
It's where my foundation is. It's where my sales career was. It's where my friends in schooling were. I grew up in the 21206 zip code in Maryland, and I'll tell you, from a childhood 70s, 80s, and 90s, I couldn't have asked for a better area. Like it just. We go back, they still have reunions about it. Like I feel blessed to do that. However, I also know it wasn't going to be my ending point. Like I did not want to be there forever. And it started to reach a place where I wanted bigger things and I wanted a change and started like learning about what it is that Dawn wants and what Dawn likes. But long story short, I am grateful that I'm from Maryland. I probably will never move back. Got some really good roots, got a lot of lessons out of Maryland. It taught me hustle. It taught me resilience. It had, some of my most grateful friendships come from Maryland. But after being there, I can't explain it because I really feel like I lived 3 lives. But long story short, I started coming down here on vacation, and I didn't know anything about the West Coast. A friend of ours moved here, so they allowed us to stay in their place. I'm like, all right, well, let's try it out. Me and my husband started coming down, and we, both of us, not one of us, fell in love with the Gulf side of Florida. Because when I thought of Florida, I thought of Orlando. Okay, it's Disney. That's not where I want to be.
Miami.
Been to Miami.
Daytona, maybe.
I'm not. It wasn't my scene. Like it's good to visit, not my scene. I did like St. Augustine on the East Coast, however, not enough to move there. But then we started coming here, and we just hit Clearwater, and we hit Bradenton, and we hit Anna Marie Island, and we hit Siesta Key, and we hit Venice, and we hit Boca Grande, and we were just like, wow, like there's a whole world out here. And then my life and thinking started to change. Like I don't have to, like, there's a whole world. Like, I don't need to be stuck in Maryland. So we started coming down. One day we got home, and we got off the plane. We're driving home. If you know anything about BWI, you're coming off the airport, and it's just trash. It's just,
dirty.
I don't even know what to say because I don't know what I can say on the podcast.
You
but
say
when he
whatever
looked
you
at
want.
me, it was just it just became very ghetto. Like nobody cared about anything anymore, and the crime, like everything, just was not the same of what the Maryland I grew up in. And he looked at me, said, "Why don't we just move to Florida?" And I remember looking at him like, we could do that. Like, we could really do that. And that's all it takes, because I'm the person that I'm an executor. Like, if I say I'm going to do it, there's a really 99% chance I'm going to make it happen. So I said to him, are you sure?
Don't tease me.
Oh, yeah, because if it's on, you know. And after that, we started coming down every couple months. And my thing was, I was coming for the beaches. That was my number. The sunshine, the beaches, the environment, the palm trees. Like, I loved everything. And it's clean. Are you going to have pocket areas that aren't great? Yes. But in general, it is extremely clean from what I'm used to. I'm not saying the rest of the country, can't speak about the Midwest or anything. But so my first goal was, okay, what beach do I want to be closest to? And we rode and I knew that I wanted to be from Clearwater down to Naples and somewhere in between. And we would come down and we would just take drives. And we literally would pull up to the beach. I would get out. I'd look at the water. I'd look at the sand, because I need both. You know, the water's good, but I'm bougie when it comes to beaches, and I want the white powders. And Venice has nice beaches, but I'm not thrilled about their sand. That's just a personal preference. So we started narrowing it down, and I made my decision, Siesta Key and Anna Maria Island. And then I started looking at price points and what I could get for houses and what county I wanted to land in and what's a zone X, and just started really learning what I wanted in the areas. And I just really zoned in on Anna Maria Island. Now, I can still get to Siesta Key in a short period of time.
Correct.
But there's just something about that little island that I love. And then we found a house. And here's the really crazy part is we found a home. So over time, we finally found a house. We had a closing date. We were going to go, and everything happened. And it was going to be our start. It was a house that was going to get us here till we find what we want. Well, what happened is Ann hit. And the people we were buying from, house they were going to buy, got hit and got demolished. So now they're not moving, or they don't want to move. Okay. Now, normally, most people would be upset, or, you know, me and my husband did not, like... I don't feed into disappointment, and I think it changes the game for you. Like, your mindset and your energy is everything. And I just thought, okay, well, that's not supposed to be. We're back to square one. We're still going to go to Florida, but it's just going to look a lot different. What happened was we had that weekend booked in December because we were coming down here to do settlement papers, and we wanted to see the house. So everything was planned. We had the Airbnb, the tickets, and everything. So we said, well, why don't we just go? We'll just go down. We'll look some more. You know, we're back to square one. Things happen. It wasn't on purpose. The sellers felt extremely horrible. I said, it's not your fault. It's like nature. Whatever reason, my trajectory changed, and that's okay. So my husband found a house online. We get down here with the realtor. We look at a bunch of houses. And the house my husband wanted to look at, I didn't even want to go look at. I was like, I'm not looking at that greenhouse. Pictures are different than when you see it in real life.
Correct.
And I was like, I don't want the greenhouse. I don't want to even look at it. But my realtor said, she's like, you know what? We had about a half an hour between our next appointment. Why don't we just pop in? I don't like downtime. I don't like to sit still. So that was a good call on her part. And then it would make him happy. All right, fine, honey. We'll go see the house that you wanted to see, blah, blah, blah. Would you believe that's the house we live in today? So it just worked out. We went there. It had everything we wanted. It was on the water. It had the pool. Turtles were out back. If you know me, turtles are my thing. And then the part that got me is my dad had just passed away. And I was very, very, very close with my dad. And if I get through this without crying, that'll be great. But I miss him a lot. And I just had his funeral a couple weeks prior to that. Because my dad died, I got married, and I moved all within a 4-month period.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was a pretty wild ride. But when I was walking back into the house, the woman had in her lanai, "You are my sunshine." And my dad, I played that at his funeral because he used to sing it to me as a little girl. And I remember looking up and said, okay, this is it.
I get goosebumps.
Put in a contract.
Wow.
I went with the contract lower than what it was listed for. Now, this was back in 21, 22 when people were still overpaying. 3 hours later, me and my husband, I get the call, and they said, your contract's been accepted, and you close in 45 days, and we're moving in January. And so...
That was real.
It was real. So he's taking a nap, and I woke him up, and I said, babe, we got the house. And he's like... And he just sat there. Like, he didn't say anything, right? And then, like, after 10 minutes, and I'm like, babe, like, are you excited we got the house? He's like, yeah, I am. He's like, I have one question, and that's it. And I said, what's that? He said... What kind of a bank's giving us $500,000? I said, I don't know, but it's going to happen. And
I'm getting it.
So here we are. But I wouldn't trade any of it. And the more I'm there, the more I love my area, the more I love my neighborhood. Like, there was things that we loved, but we didn't know. And the longer we stay, the more we're like, God,
find, right?
We realize that, it worked out like exactly how it was supposed to. So
tell me a little bit about well, your dad seems like he was a big impact, and I didn't know exactly what that was until I had a daughter. So I know there's something about that. I'll get.
I call it the daddy-daughter relationship and mother-son relationship.
And
I truly believe in that. I don't have a son, but I do know moms that do, and I just think that dynamic. And the mother-daughter dynamic, mother-father, daughter-father, if I can get it out, dynamic is very, it's just different. You can't explain it. And, people, like my friends that just now, my relationship with him was just unbelievable. He was somebody that was in my corner no matter what. Whether I was right or wrong, whether I was good or bad, did not matter. He had my back no matter what. And, he was fun to be around. He made me laugh all the time, and just like I don't want to say he wasn't a typical dad, but yet he was over the top. Like, he spoiled me rotten. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, my husband would say, like, I got a job at the World Trade Center.
I gotta compete with this guy.
And I remember him driving me work every day and picking me up for 3 years while I worked at the World Trade Center, because either I had to work, park in Fells Point, which I'd have to walk 30 minutes. I wasn't going to do that. Or I'd have to pay for parking, and God forbid if I did that, because I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together.
You had no money.
I didn't have anything. And but it was things like that. You know what I mean? It was I don't know. We just had a unique relationship.
And it's funny. I got to say this because my son is sitting there doing the cameras right now. So my son is my best friend. He knows this, and my daughter, it's different, and he'll always be like, "Well, I could have never got away with that." I'm like, I understand. I said, I completely understand. I said, but I had to raise a man with you. You're my best friend. Like, we're gonna do stuff for your whole life.
It's different.
I'm like, I don't need to train her to be a man. Like to kind of dodge arrows, a different kind of arrows, right? Like, I want to be the example that she wants the person that she wants to be with down the road. So I can't be the jerk.
No.
And push her away. Like you, I can be a little tougher. I need to be tougher on you.
It's just different.
It's just a different dynamic.
Yeah. And it's funny because the person that I married, who I just love to death, like, he's so supportive in my career. He's not career driven, but he takes care of everything for me. Like, when I wake up in the morning and I look over, my hot coffee sitting right next to my bed.
Nice.
Every day. My clothes are washed all the time because he's home. He's a handyman and does side stuff, but he does a lot of things that gives me the ability to do what I do.
To do what you do.
To get to do the thing that I love. I'm not the I guess typical wife or typical child, daughter. I don't know what label you want to put in it. I mean, if you're looking for a hot cooked meal every night, I ain't your girl. I'm just not. If you're looking,
but you want a boss wife that's going to get out there and hustle and make things happen.
If that's what you're looking for, then I'm your cup of tea. But he does all the cooking because he used to be a chef. So I'm thinking,
perfect.
He used to be a chef. I can't even compete with that.
Why do you want me to cook?
My fancy dinners for my kids were chicken roaster, a can of peas, and some Lipton noodles. He cooks stuff. Now my food. I'm bougie now with food. My buds have changed. He has changed my whole aspect when it comes to food. And now it's like, a lot of times we'll go out to eat, and I'm like, man, baby, you could have made better stuff at home with this. It's,
why are we here?
So that's kind of cool.
How old are your kids?
30 and 20.
Okay. Oh, wow. So you have a little bit of a gap.
It was like
nice.
Having a single child for each one of them.
Yeah.
2 girls, so I have no sons, 2 girls. Very, very different.
You're best friends. Like,
they are.
And that's what I told my wife. So my wife was happy with the 2 boys. She's like, mama's boys. I'm like, listen, when they're in their 20s and 30s and we're doing weekends, father-son weekends, you and them aren't going to be doing like weekends at the beach, sharing a hotel room.
Right.
I'm like, and you're gonna hate me for having this, so we have to try that. So you have that now. Do they now? Your daughters live still up in Maryland, or
I have one that still lives in Maryland.
Okay.
She's got a boyfriend / fiance. Not really sure.
Younger.
She's the one that's 30.
Okay, 30.
And she has her career up there. They have a home. They're kind of doing their thing. My youngest moved down here with me, and she's still trying to find herself. She's just kind of.
Well, she's 20, so
she's 20,
she still could be in college. Like Chris is 20, so like I get that. I mean, I don't think even my son. I'm like, he has a path that he wants, but I remember when I was 20, I had no clue. At that point, did I say, "Oh, I'm going to be a mortgage banker someday, and I'm gonna crush the mortgage business"? No, it wasn't like I don't even think it was a thought in my mind.
No, definitely was not. I just kind of want them to be.
happy.
Do you find your path? You don't have
Correct.
to do what society says to
No.
do, and you don't need the 4-year degree. In my opinion, it's just mine.
You don't.
If you want college because it's a degree, like your son wants to be a doctor, I get it. You need college. But if you're going to college for 4 years just because you want some kind of business degree, like, don't waste your time. Figure
Yeah.
out what you want to do. You
Done.
know, like, I'm just not about live your authentic self. It took me a lot of years to figure that out, and a lot of trial and error and a lot of ups and downs and a lot of, which we'll get to later, just starting from ground zero. But now I just live for me today. Like, I want to do what makes me happy. You know, I want a
Correct.
career that I get up and enjoy every single day. I want to wake up and know that I can put my feet in the sand whenever I want. And here's the thing, you can have anything you want. Like, you really can, you know, even if it doesn't seem possible. But it's, to
We
me,
talked
it's all
about
about
that, too.
mindset. It's all about mindset.
We talked about that on our call,
Mm-hmm.
and about the mindset. Like, your mind is so powerful, and believe, achieve, all these little cliche sayings. They're real.
They are very real.
You can either
Yes.
speak life into your life, or you
Yep.
can speak death into your life.
Exactly.
You know, I mean,
and
this-
anything in between.
and I catch myself sometimes, and I'll look
Mm-hmm.
here too. Is I went to Tony Robbins. I did a Tony Robbins thing way back, and
Mm-hmm.
one of the things he was teaching is to reset. And my son's probably don't laugh too hard back there, so we can hear you. But because I used to say this to him, like, bad shot, reset, just tap these 2 fingers and reset your brain. But
Mm-hmm.
so many times where you're like, oh, I can't do that. And I'm like, whoa, I can't say that. Shake that off, right?
Yep.
Reset. Like, I can do that. Or
Yep.
why am I'm so busy? I remember I used to say that all the time. I'm so busy. I got so much to do.
Yeah.
Now I change it to, like, reset. I get so much to do. I get to do all this stuff. I get to do all this stuff. People would love to have all this stuff to do.
Kind of go
like-
with the flow.
Correct,
You know,
right?
people are like, one of the beliefs I used to have is, it takes, you got to work really hard to be successful. Everything's hard work. You got to put in. That belief's like out the window, because I've seen the difference. Like, I go with the flow of life. I go with attraction rather
Correct.
than chasing. I don't chase anything anymore. Like, my
Grip it.
whole is completely set. It's just changed like a 180. But here's the thing. And I don't even know if we'll get to that part of the journey. Some things shifted in my life that took me down a road that I didn't even know I was looking for, that I found. And when I started to realize and started reading and searching and, talking about the universe and myself and energy, but then it started happening. Like, my house that I have in Florida today and me living here was all a change from the way I started speaking, the way I started thinking,
Correct.
the way I started, spending my mornings, and I'm consistent with it. And but here's the biggest hit and the best hit. Once you know it and once you see it, it's like life just becomes so much easier. But you
gotta
can't
stay
teach it.
there.
You can't make people understand it.
Walk us through that routine in the morning.
Oh, well, can I tell you? Can I do the backstory to
Yeah,
show you my
please.
routine?
Yeah, do
so,
that.
Way back in 2020, I had gotten COVID, pneumonia, and the flu all at the same time, and I winded up in the hospital. And I was very, very, very sick. And I remember my first night in there, and I called a guardian angel. People can think whatever they want. She came into my room, and I remember she was a tiny little lady with real short hair, no glasses or anything. And sometimes you need to talk to me like a hard ass. Like, that's just my personality. Like, if you want to reach me, you need to talk to me on a level that I'm at, right? And sometimes that's not always pretty. So she came in, and I remember it was dark, and I was sick. Like, I had it all, and I was on oxygen and everything. And she looked at me, and she said, "If you don't get your ass in gear, you're going to be upstairs on a ventilator, and you're going to die, and you're not leaving this hospital." Just like that. And I was like...
That's how you needed it. That's
yeah.
So
And I looked at her, and I said, "I'm not going on a ventilator." And she said, and if you don't do exactly what I tell you to do right now, that's exactly where you're going. And she needed me to turn on my stomach, which was extremely hard, and most of the patients weren't doing it because you had to open up your back lungs and blah, blah, blah. And it was miserable by all means. And she just said, you need to get your ass in gear. You need to save your own life right now. And left the room. I never saw her again. I tried to explain it to people who were coming in. They're like, we don't know who you're talking about. And so from that point on, while I was in there, the doctor would come in and he would look at my level. He said, "If you can get that up to 98, I'll let you go home." I said, I'm going to be out of here by Friday. And meanwhile, they got patients next to me, beside me, upstairs. It was during that 21 Chrome.
The mayhem.
Yeah, when it was horrible. So, and I just said to myself, like, I need to create my own immune system. I need to be the mind over matter. I need to get up out of this bed and walk around with my little IV in my room. And I started playing all this old 80s music, like Dancing Queen and Gloria, like just all this crazy stuff that I forgot as a child. And I just started moving because I just thought if I move, I got it. My lungs have to get, and I just had to push myself through it. And I just started feeling better. And I didn't, they would come in, and I'm not big on taking medicines and doing stuff, and you'll see in my story if that comes up. It's just not me. Like, I'm not on any type of medication right now, and it's my own decision. And so they would come in and like, oh, you need to take. I'm not doing that. I would tell them I'm not doing that. You know, got my oxygen, I got this. But needless to say, he wind up coming back, and I wind up getting out on Thursday at 4:00.
Perfect.
And I hit the numbers that I needed to hit. And I still, then that's where it took me down this road. So to get off track, so I go home, I'm still going to be off work for a month because I'm still weak. Like, I was really sick. I had the COVID, hair was falling out. It was terrible. But to have all three of them, and I'll be honest, pneumonia screwed me more than, in my personal opinion, than the flu and
because of
COVID.
the breathing, right?
Yes,
And the
so that
strength.
killed me more. So now I got a month at home. I'm not working. I really can't do anything around the house. I'm not a sit-still kind of
Still
person.
in corporate America.
Still in corporate America. And I love TikTok. I do like watching TikTok. It's one of my favorite social medias. And somehow something came across my page by Abraham Hicks, who I never even heard of, knew nothing about, or knew nothing. And whatever happened in that clip just struck me like to my core. So then I started searching and getting more into gratitude and more into listening to her and the Joe Dispenza, and just really started on a journey. And Quantum, this other girl, Quantum, somebody came up on my newsfeed, and it just took me down this rabbit hole that I didn't even know I was looking for. And I started to like realize this is what I've been relating. I grew up Catholic my whole life, 12 years of Catholic school, and I'm not against the Catholic. Like, everybody deserves to have their own religion.
Correct.
But I needed something that fed my soul.
That's
and I
it.
finally found that, and I didn't even know I was looking for it. So then I started changing the way I thought, changing the way I talked to myself. Every time a problem would arise, I would just keep saying out loud, everything's going to work out and to my best interest, everything's going to work out in my favor.
And it did.
And it started happening, and I was like, this is magic, right? And so then after that, I just started every morning. So when I had to go back to work, that's where the morning routine came in, because then I got really used to doing this whole thing. Like, I can't remove this from my life. So every morning I always light a little bit of sage to go through my room. I do a gratitude list every morning. There's a million things to be grateful for. I mean, down to the birds and the sunshine,
the trees, the palm tree.
That, to being healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care who you are. You can find something to be grateful for. Even if you're in the hospital, be grateful that you have a bed in a hospital that somebody's caring for you. Like, there's just always something. So I do a gratitude list. I'm really big on that. I do affirmations. I'm really big on that. And then here's the other thing. Meditation is something I never could do. Like, I couldn't slow my brain down long. Like, I have ADHD. I don't take medication for it. I'm used to it. It's my superpower. That's what I call it.
It is.
And but meditation, like, I couldn't sit for like 60 seconds and meditate. Like, I could never do that, and I never thought I would. For whatever reason, I started doing that, and it started with 2 minutes, and now I'm up to 30, sometimes 40 minutes. And now I'm so addicted, because I have an addictive personality, to meditation, that I make sure every day that I do it at a minimum a 10-minute meditation, where it just slows my whole nervous system down. It takes me like on a, I can't, like a deeper level.
Transcends you almost.
Yes, it transcends. Like, I need that sometimes, and like, especially if I'm working from home. When you said the other day, I don't get to use my pool that much. Let me just tell you, that is my favorite thing in the world. And if I'm working from home, I promise you, at lunchtime, I'm going in my pool and I'm meditating on a raft, and the sun's shining on my face, and I'm just like this out on the water. And I do that at a minimum once a week. And if I can squeeze it in more, I do. Now I'll have to get back up and go back to work, but that little bit of time,
that's all you need.
Changed my life. Yeah, it's it. It's all.
Yeah,
it's all that.
it's a reset.
And it totally. So that has helped me. Sometimes in the morning they're shorter, sometimes they're longer, and I always read. I'm not an advocate reader where I want to sit down and read a book for 3 hours. Again, I don't like to sit that long, right?
Yeah.
But every morning I read at least 3 to 5 pages of a book. And sometimes I have to read a book multiple times for it to sink in. And 2 books that I have read probably 17 times or more is The 4 Agreements.
I'm going to write it down.
and The Secret.
Okay.
And they're great books, right? But to really start living them, I don't know about you. I need to keep doing it over and over. So every day and every morning I would read 3 or 4 pages from one book, 3 or 4 pages from the next book, and then that's it. So then after 17 times of doing that, all of a sudden I start to live that way. And now if I'm questioning myself or I'm in a bad spot, because I'm still human, I still react to things that I don't want to have that behavior anymore, or whatever it may be, I'll just go to that book and just open up to a page, and whatever it is, it's where I need to be.
That's what you need to be. So have you ever read Think and Grow Rich?
Yes, I have read that.
Right.
Love that book too. Have not read it multiple times.
It's kind of like the deeper version of The Secret, right?
Yes.
It's like kind of dives a little bit, so it's a little bit more.
There's so many out there now. I'm always reading like something by some. There's so much, there's so much information.
There is.
And once you start taking it in and absorbing it, because I'll hear from people all the time, oh, I can't meditate. Oh, I'm not a reader. And I don't push them. It's not my job. But I think to myself,
but it's a limited belief. That's
a limited belief.
Or that used to be you, right?
Yes.
Where you had these limited beliefs, and I try to even my son, I've taught that his whole life. My daughter, she's always she gets into this negative groove. I'm like, you gotta snap out of that. It's a limited belief, and she's 12, so she doesn't quite grasp what I'm saying. But
she'll get there.
But
though.
I know if I keep saying it,
because my daughter finally did. But here's the other side of it. If someone's telling me how great meditation is and how good this book is, and I'm not a meditator or a reader, that's why I started saying, okay, I'm not going to be able to lay there for 30 minutes, but let me just try 2. Let me see what this is really all about. It engaged me, right? And the reading part is so important. And though I'm not one of those bookworm readers that want to say, like my husband reads a book a week at a minimum. He loves reading.
Good
he
for
doesn't
him.
do anything, but he
Fiction,
sometimes
nonfiction?
too. Both, but more nonfiction. Like he just loves reading, and he'll sit for hours.
Nice.
And I'm just like, I'm gonna lay in the pool, or I'm gonna go search some MLS, or I gotta, it's stuff to do. But I always make sure to read a couple pages like every single day. And and here's the biggest thing with anything in life I've learned: everything, no matter if you're doing it for 2 minutes, 2 hours, 2 weeks, 2 months, it's all consistency. Working out, eating right, showing up, working on your mind, your mental health. It's not like a one and done kind of thing.
Yeah, it's not a once a week.
No, it's
like
not.
You got to be consistent, because I'm in a slump right now with my gym stuff. Because I got off of doing that Ironman last year.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm done.
Right.
And now it's so hard to
much
restart.
harder to get, but yes.
I'm like, all right, I gotta get my act together. So I get that.
Yeah.
But I want to move along. So we got about 30. There's so much meat in this that I got to get to. So let's talk about your corporate sale. Like, you are a top performer in your business, because it's gonna it translates into where you are today and what you've taken over. So kind of walk through those corporate experiences, how you translated those into your real estate business, right? And then it's tough, because I don't know if I want to talk about first. You tell me where you want to go with this, because this is our podcast.
Okay.
I want to talk about that corporate sale. So there's an addiction piece that I think there's a message that you want to go, because you're the overcomer, right?
Yeah.
Of a lot of different things. You overcame COVID, where we know what happened to a lot of people that had that, right? You're a survivor. You're a fighter, right? I don't know how you want to weave this in, but I want to talk about your successes in corporate sales and how that translated into what you're doing now. But did the addiction start at a young age? Did it start when you were like a teen? For me, our era was
Gen X was
party as hard as you can, and it started at probably age 12 or 13. But some people, it started when they got to the corporate world. I will say
this. No, it was so I'm a Gen X. That's what we did back in the day. I mean, I really truly believe we're the only generation that was 30 at 12 and 30 at 55. You know what I mean? Like, we're just different. We're somehow stuck in the middle somewhere. We don't really care about a whole lot. Like,
had
we're
no
just
guidance.
No guidance at all. Like, what, you just kind of did your own thing. I don't give a shit about a lot of stuff. Like, I just don't care, right? It's just part of who we are. But so I did the whole party scene and whatever, and that's how we grew up, because that's what we did. We didn't have social media. However, I wind up, graduating from school. I went to college, got married, I bought a house. I did like all the normal things that everybody says you're successful in the outside world that you do. And at the time, I thought that was great, right? Because I didn't know any different or any better. I didn't know there was so much more to us and so much more substance to us and so much more growing because I never was exposed to any of that, and you get so enrolled in what society says and what is right or wrong and looks different. So why would you look to change yourself if you just think you got it going on because everything the society told you is right is what you're doing? Okay, long story short, I went in for a surgery. Now, don't get me wrong, I partied and drank and dabbled in drugs, by all means, especially growing up in the 80s and 90s.
Correct.
They were everywhere.
Excess.
But I went in for surgery, and I came out, and they sent me home with oxycodone. Now, I'm green. I don't know much about drug addiction. I don't know what's going to happen in that process or whatever. I do know that I used to what is I going to say? That I used to judge. Let me tell you what I learned in my addiction. I used to judge people that were hardcore drug addicts, and they deserve what they get, and that's their own fault, and blah, 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 until it happens to you, right? So I got stuck on these pills, and for whatever reason, I liked them. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, I liked them. I thought, oh, my God, if I can feel like this the rest of my life, it's on, right? Didn't know what I didn't know. Then I got to a point where I was sick one time. My brother came to my house, and he said, oh, you're dope sick. And I'm like, what is that? And he gave me a pill, and I instantaneously felt better. So then in my mind, in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, I might be addicted to these things, but I wasn't ready to stop. It's kind of like that. In my mind, I convinced myself I could still control it. I could still do everything. That is not what happened. I am a statistic of the pill mill world. I lost everything. And let me rephrase that. I didn't lose anything. I gave it all away. Like, I chose to give it all away. I gave my relationships away with my kids. I eventually gave my home away. That's a kind of odd story. I lived in my house for 5 years without making a mortgage payment. Well, how'd you do that, Don? Well, I learned how to tie it up and modifications and all the things.
Oh, yeah.
I learned how to play the game. But, I mean, I lost, I gave away all, like, my 401ks, like, everything. I had my Ross, like, everything that I had was gone.
That you earned all that hard work, right?
Yeah, everything that I had ever worked for. But more importantly, I lost myself. I lost me. I lost my dignity. I lost, it was hard. Like, it was really hard, and I was stuck, and I didn't understand that. It's almost like you reach a place, once you cross a line, you can't get back. It's almost like I couldn't stop if I wanted to. Like, it was really, that's how bad it was. And I'm a strong-willed person. Yeah. If I put my mind to it, I'm probably going to do it. That shit owned me, and I mean owned me, and I lost everything. So, again, long story short, and this wasn't like a year period. I'm talking like several years.
Because you were a functioning addict. You could
work. For a while, yes. I did. For a while, I did. Well, I kind of worked, though. Yeah, I was a functioning addict, if you want to put it that. But it slowly starts to creep away, right? Like, things start to happen.
And then you don't care, right?
Then you don't care, right? Like I'll give you an example. When I think about this today, I can't even fathom living like that today. But when you reach a place where BG&E is knocking on your door and saying, if you don't give me $700, that's getting shut off, you're in like a little bit of a pickle here. Like, what are you doing with your life? So anyway, I looked at myself one day in the mirror. This was a couple years in, and I just shared this story with somebody. And really looked at myself, like really got up to the mirror and looked at myself. And just tears started coming down my face because I just thought, how did you get here? How did you get here? Because I didn't even recognize me anymore. And then I slid down the wall crying. And I thought, how do I get out of it? Because I really had no clue. At this point, I just, it's Groundhog Day. Meanwhile, 3-4 years have gone by and you're still living the same day. And you just, it's such a place I never want to go back to. However, sometimes the darkest places bring you the biggest joys and lessons. And it's like that Phoenix Rising kind of thing where you come out. And that's kind of what happened. So I would like to say that particular day I went and got help, but I didn't. A couple weeks later, I went and got the help I needed. I personally, willingly checked myself into a rehab because I needed help. I needed help with the detox. I didn't know what that was going to look like. And I just slowly, bit by bit, started rebuilding my life because there was and there's so much more in the middle of all that. There were multiple times I wanted to stop. It was not my first treatment center. Like, it was all these things. Like, I would go and wanted to fix things because I was going to lose my job, or my kids were going to leave me, or this person's not talking to me, or I want my parents to leave me alone. Like, I would try to fix it, but
like a Band-Aid effect almost, just for a minute.
I wasn't 100% ready, and I had to break. Like, I literally broke to a million pieces, shattered on the floor, if you want to call it that, and said, okay, you either want to die. Like, I didn't want to commit suicide, but I knew that I was no longer wanting to live like this.
I don't want to live like this anymore.
I can't do it. I just can't do it. And slowly but slowly, I started working a program. I started really getting into recovery. And then that's the other thing with my spiritual side. It ties into my recovery, and all these things started happening in such a positive way. And I heard a quote, and this was the other thing that changed me a lot. It said, you can have one thing and not have anything else. Like, you can have this one thing and everything else is gone. You can do that. Or you can give up that one thing and have everything. And that stuck with me. And I just thought,
Wow.
how much truth is that to somebody who's, and I don't care if you're addicted to sex, gambling, alcohol to me is the worst one, or drugs. It literally takes everything from you.
Sucks the life out of you.
Yeah, so if you can walk away from that one thing, and now my life has just exploded.
You have the power. Yep. You're in control. And I found that I had stopped drinking from 2006 to 2012. I didn't have a drop of alcohol. So I never had a blackout in my life.
Right.
And I was part of an energy company that we brought public back in 2006. And
you've just done it all too. I need to put you on a podcast anyway.
Crazy story. But what happened was I got home. And I'll be transparent too here. So I got home. I don't even remember driving home. So we had a limo. We rang the bell in New York.
Right.
The whole shebang.
Thing,
right. And I wake up in my driveway. My son was a year. I get goosebumps thinking of it. And I remember in my car, I had a bottle of vodka that was pouring in my seat. I knew my wife was inside. Julie was gonna flip out when I walked in, but it was kind of a pattern that every once in a while I would just go out all night or go out till 2, 3 in the morning. I had no business doing that. I'm married, I got a family, but we're running a business. I had 80 bankers working for me, and then I got this energy company I was a part of. So it was just like craziness, and then there was illicit drugs on the seat as well. And at the time I was on every radio station up north. I mean, I did all their VJs. Mortgages, so they were reading their ads on like the major stations in Boston. I had a TV show that was running throughout all of New England for real estate TV, and I just remember looking down at my car and saying, if they would have pulled me over with this, I would have been at least the front page of the local news.
1,000%.
Right, like a prominent businessman.
They would have hung, yes.
Had, drugs, booze.
1,000%.
And I was like, I just remember walking in my house, and like you, I'm very strong-willed. If you told me to do something,
I'm not doing it.
I'm not doing nothing.
Don't boss me.
Don't tell me how to do
Don't tell me what to do, how to think, where to go, what to say, none of it. Yeah.
So I remember walking in the house, and Julie starts going around. I'm like, stop. I said, it's done. So I did. I didn't need to.
Here's a question, though. Did she believe you?
I think she did, because she stopped. Like, I think my wife always had the faith in me that when it came, because I have a look. Like, I know when I'm determined on something.
So she saw the look.
She just knew that it wasn't like, leave me alone. It wasn't the BS. It was like, listen, I'm done.
See, mine had gotten so far that when I said I was done, people had already reached a level like, we heard that one before.
I had never said I was done before.
Oh, okay. so like, there you go. I mean? There's a big difference.
Because I do one thing. I never say, one thing about me, and my kids will attest to this, if I say I promise, like, I don't care. I will keep that promise, whether it's the good thing, the bad thing.
See, that's who I am with inside. Yeah. But when you're addicted, the addiction calls the shots.
Well, I don't know if I was.
I don't know. That's what it said.
I don't know if I was addicted.
No.
I just like the scene a lot.
You needed to change
I just
the
know
lifestyle, because it's a lifestyle.
I would smoke cigarettes and then I would quit.
Yeah.
Like for years, and then I would light up again, and I smoke, and I'd start getting a cough. I'd be like, I'm done with this. Throw this stuff out, and I'd be done. So.
Oh, I'm no doctor, but I will say it doesn't sound like you have an addictive personality that you can do that. I will say that much, which is awesome.
I mean, I'm fortunate, but that decision was like major, and to this day, now I rarely drink at all.
We were talking about that. You
lucky
might have a glass of wine or something
here or there, but
I don't miss any of it. Like, you know what I know now? I'm just like, life is so amazing. Like amazing. Like I don't even want any kind of like right now what I put in my body is either vitamins, I will take some Advil, and that's pretty much it. I don't, I go to get a physical and the doctor's like, you're not on any medication? No, and I don't plan to be. I don't really want anything you have to offer. Or like there's a CBD place next to where I work. And like, do you have anxiety? Do you have depression? Do you have trouble sleeping? No, I don't have any of that. Nope, I sleep really good. I don't have anxiety. I don't have depression. I have ADHD. I don't want medicine for it. I kind of like it in my brain. It kind of works well for me. I just don't want. I guess again, part of my spiritual life. I'm not interested in Western medicine anymore. I'm just not, and that's where I am. And I don't know.
I do the vitamins too. Same thing. It's because I need to intake the fruits and the vegetables. Don't carry the nutrients they used to. I don't think, at least here in this country.
Yeah.
They with the GMO and all that stuff. So I do take that. But tell me, when did you? How long has your sobriety been? Like how long? When was that switch, and when did it turn over?
Years now, probably 10, 12 years.
And I think it's a passion of yours to help other people.
I say that, though. Let me just add that in, because 10, 12 years ago, I also went into a maintenance program for 2 years to help me get over the hump to get to where I am. So I kind of add that in there because I was under doctor's care, and I kind of went through that process. That's also part of my story. So all in all, it's been over a decade.
And now it's like, and the reason we're talking about this is because you wanted to talk about it a little bit, and I found it amazing that you wanted to share and give back to other people to know, like, you can get out of it, and you can still become successful.
Whatever you want to do. Whatever
go
you
from
want to
success to out of success to come back again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if the old verbiage, if I can do it, you can do it, because you know what? We're all human beings, right?
And you mentioned that, and I do want to share this because for a long time, this is like the first time I'm actually outwardly spoken, knowing this is going to be put all over social media. If you knew, you knew, but I never wanted to put it on my social media or promote about it because, again, my crazy thinking was it's going to be judged. It's okay to say if you're not drinking alcohol, but oh my God, you used to use drugs and you're not using those anymore. And I don't want to say I worried about that, but there was a lot of shame and guilt that went with me because in my mind, it's like I knew better and still went down that hole. But two, I just didn't want to deal with other people. And being in sales, I always felt like, well, if they knew that. And then I had a conversation. Now, this has been a long journey for me, but I started growing from it, and people started coming into my life that have had some serious stuff to go with that. But my broker said to me, and it just made so much, she said, Dawn, if people don't want to be part of your life or work with you or help them buy a house because you have a past that you came from or survived, they're not your people anyway.
They're not your people.
And I went, no shit, light bulb. Right. How did I not figure that out in 8 years? And at the end of the day,
more
it doesn't
people
matter.
will accept you than not anyways.
Accept me. And you know what? It's okay. It's my past. It happened. I was, you own
it.
I own it. I had a really good life. I had a really crappy life, and I went down to ground zero and lost it, gave it all away, and had nothing and didn't even know where I was going to begin. And then I rebuilt, but that's the other thing about. Let me just, if we're going to talk about the addiction, let's talk about the recovery part, because that's the real hit, right?
That's it.
That is like, when you start from zero, you get to build it any way you want. You get to design it any way you want. You get to grow any way you want. You get to change any way you want. And at that point, I knew I didn't want my first life. Like, that was just freaking boring. All right, I'm just going to be married and have a house. I'm just going to go to work every day, and I'm going to bust my ass and work all these hours for somebody else and pay these bills and, really not. No purpose, no enjoying anything. What is it that I even like, I didn't even know at that point. And so for recovery for me has been the best life I've ever had, and I never want to change it. And it has opened me up to opportunities that I didn't even know existed. It has changed me from within. I do a lot of soul searching and just growing from within, because the other thing I learned, another belief I had, happiness had to come from somewhere out here. Nope, it all comes within here. I don't need anybody
or depend on
anything.
Somebody for it, right?
I can choose to be happy every single day, and that's a choice I make every single day. Didn't know that either. And I say that to say, without that addiction, and as hard as it was, and as bad as it sucked, and as many going down deep in the hole and having to crawl your way back out of it, I am so grateful for that part of my life, because if I didn't have that, I would have had no hole to crawl out of, and I'd still be stuck over here like every other person and that I grew up with. I'm just doing this little life and have this life. I'm not really happy, but it's okay, and I kind of love her, but I really don't. And my kids are grown, but do I have a relationship with them? Maybe kind of, but not really. And I kind of, it's like all those things, like there's no,
it's just clutter,
and nobody's ever genuinely, in my opinion, right, happy. Like, go after your dreams, your goals, your fears. So once you go through that kind of hell, I'm not afraid to do anything.
You'll
lose it all again? I'll rebuild it.
Everything.
Material things come back like nothing. I had a house, car, credit, like all that came right back. I had to fix this, and that's what gave me the opportunity. And then that's also what helped me with, not having fear. Like, what? I'm going to move to Florida. That's what I want to do. It's where I want to go. I don't need to wait till I retire. That's where I want to be right now. And
You're gonna
what if
figure
it
it
all
out.
works out? But here's the other side of it. What if it don't? What if it didn't work out? Oh, what? I moved back to Baltimore and I'm back to square one to where I was originally started. Like, that's where my mind
Yeah.
goes. Like, you have nothing to lose. I like my freedom with my recovery. I'm not stuck at a job that I've been for 20 years and I can't leave, or I own a business in Maryland and if I leave that, I'm glad I don't have that.
You have
I
flexibility,
yes, I
freedom.
don't want to be glued to anything, or I get people, here's a big one. I don't want to leave my home. I got a 3% interest rate. I'm never giving that up. Okay, well, my theory behind that, if you love your home and that's where you want to be, God bless
Perfect.
you, you stay there for the rest of your life. But here's what I'm going to tell you. For me, if it's somewhere, because this is the part I don't like when they say that, but if I didn't, or I really want to move, but I can't because I got a 3%, see, I don't believe in that.
No,
I'm
me
living
neither.
wherever I want to live. I don't care what the interest rate is.
I don't care what the price is. It doesn't matter.
I'm not going to stay stuck for the sake of thinking of holding on to something that in the end of life doesn't even matter. I mean, what do you like? None
Can't
of it
take
even
that-
matters.
the house is gonna be there when you're gone.
Exactly. Now, and again, everybody has their own decision and their own choices. I love my freedom. That is the most important thing to me. My career. Like right now, I can schedule this on a Friday. Ain't nobody looking for me. I don't report to anybody.
Yeah.
I do what I do because I love it.
You love it, and you have that flexibility.
And I like to be able to pick up. And I don't even know if I'll be in Florida forever. Maybe another 10 years, I might move to another country. Who knows?
It will be another step up.
Yeah.
Whatever it
Whatever
is.
it is. Yep.
So I'm going to talk about this because listen, we've already been going for
I
50
know.
minutes. You see
I
how
can tell.
this
It
just
just
rolls?
rolls, yeah.
And it's fun, but I definitely.
Well, we might have to bring me back again.
I
then.
will bring you back, and I want to bring Jen back with you.
Yes, that would be great.
Really, what I want to talk about is you got such a dynamic relationship with your business partner, Jen.
Yes.
Like you guys, and I really want that to hit home because that's going to
Yeah.
be a big piece of what people are going to watch too. Is just because of your tenacity, because of your overcoming, right? If I was somebody that was looking to buy real estate, who do I want to fight for me? Whether it's I'm selling a property or whether I'm a buyer in the market, I want someone like this, as a fighter, like that's going to go in there, roll up their sleeves and win. And then your partner is the same way. She has almost different story,
Right.
but something similar, like where she's overcome her own things, and you
Right.
guys are both sitting at the top of your game in a market that has 9,000 agents in it.
Yeah.
Right. So you're not just competing with a handful of people. You're competing against, like, I think it's 9,500
Right.
licensed agents in Manatee and Sarasota County. So tell us a little bit about your dynamic and how that relationship started and how you guys grown up the ranks.
So our relationship started very organically. It was not planned. I will tell you, and she will say the same thing. If you would have asked either one of us 15 months ago, we would ever have a partner, the answer would be no. Like, I did not want to partner up with anybody. I wasn't going to carry somebody. I'm not going to bust my ass
You
and
know
then
what you're
share
gonna
it. I
do.
do, right. And I'm not, like, giving that away. So neither one of us were really looking to do what we have now, right? But somehow she was in the office a lot. I was in the office a lot. And, when I watch people, and she watches people, what we do. Her work ethic was a lot like mine. She was there,
Yeah.
she was very good at
With
what
a
she
different
had.
skill set. With a different skill set.
Yes. And I took note of that. Trust me, I did. When I
Like-
watched her social media and I knew what she could do with it, I'm like, that's a talent. Like, that's a talent that,
And you're a
I could do it.
rainmaker.
Yeah, and I'm yep. And so what happened is I started getting some clients and some investors that needed time. The investors are a total different breed of client.
Correct.
They require a lot more work. In my opinion, and it can be good because it's consistent. They never stop buying and flipping and all that
That's
stuff.
it.
But it's a different breed. There's no emotion attached to it. It's like, this is what I need. The numbers need to be here. I'm
Correct.
not the person that's going to sit there and run all this. I'm just not wired that way. So I
You
asked
can
her.
bring them to the table, though.
Right, I'll get all of that. Yeah, I'll bring them to the table. I'll sit down. I'll find some houses. But that other end of it, I don't want to do. So anyway, she was in the office one day, and I said, "You want to help me with this?" So we started working clients together, and then
Like, I'll give you something. I'll give you a piece of this if you
well,
help
we would
me.
split.
Yeah,
I
we'll
just say,
split
look,
it, yeah.
let's just do this. We'll split it 50-50. But it was
Started
only
working.
that specific client. And then
Yeah.
it started going like this. And then by doing that, though, we kind of started finding our niche, right?
Mm.
Like, she's an email person. I'm a phone call person, right? She's a social media person. I'm an in-your-face, knock-on-your-door person. it was just our work ethic was so much alike, and our values were alike, and who we are to our core, but our personalities. And I don't know if you ever heard of DISC before, but if you've ever been in sales, and if you haven't heard from it, go take the test. It will tell you who you are.
You and I
I'm
are
an
the same.
ID.
Me
She
too.
is a CS. Okay,
and that's what you need.
And I need a C in my life.
Yeah.
That is for sure. And she's a CS to the core, and I'm an ID, and it works, and it works well, and we don't really step on each other's toes. We'll go to each other if we need to bounce something off. She's kind of fine, and it's not even like we sat down and said, okay, Jen, you're going to do this part of the business. Dawn, you're going to do this part. That's
We
not
just
how
kind
it
of
went.
fell right into the
We
spots
fell right into
you
what
do.
she does, and what I do, if I'm out on the road, I'm like, Jen, this is going on. Can you shoot this email out? She'll call me, hey, Dawn, can you call this agent because I need to know this, or get on there, and here, and it is true. Like, I am probably more of a ball buster than her. Like, I'm kind of like, if you need that information, you need it right now, and they're not responding, give me 5, right? Like, I'm
I'll
that
go
way.
get it.
Right. And she's got that S personality. So, and I'm not, no, I'm, this is
So
what I
you know
need.
when to back off and let her take over.
Yes.
But then there's times where you gotta be the bull in the china
I'm
shop, and you're like,
good cop,
let
bad
Dawn
cop
go
kind
in.
of thing. Let me just see what I can do, and it just works, and we kind of like respect, and it's just grown. Like, it has just. And we didn't know, and we did a year contract, and I have a really good feeling that we're probably going to sign another year because it's just worked so well. And the other thing that we love about it is real estate can be up or down, right? You can get a check, you get 3 checks in 1 month and not get one for 4, whatever it is. It's given us more consistency because she's got clients, I got clients, they come in, and people say, where do you get your clients? I couldn't even nail one place because they're literally everywhere. Like, I always say, I have a conversation with everybody, anywhere, anytime.
And not a pushy one. You're just a conversation.
A conversation. Doesn't even have to be about real estate.
Exactly.
I want to get to know. I love people.
Yeah.
I want to get to know you. I love hearing the stories. But it plants seeds. That's all I'm doing is planting seeds, and eventually all those seeds will eventually grow, or they'll be, or I want to leave an impression or stay in where you remember who I am or what we talked about. What another thing I love about real estate is I love meeting the people, the different types of people that I've gotten to meet. I've been exposed to things I didn't even know existed in this world. You do what for a living, or you probably do too, or where do you come from, or oh, it's all cash. That was another thing. Call me crazy, but I did not realize the amount of people that are all cash buyers in Florida.
I
mean,
you got $500,000 sitting in your bank.
You just, and it's nothing to them. Second home, I'm paying all cash. Like, right now, my clients are 50-50 split between cash
that's great. Makes your life easy.
Oh, it does make it a lot easier, but it definitely brought me to a different aspect of life, coming from, little Baltimore, Perry Hall, Maryland.
Yeah.
Like, and I grew up middle class. I wouldn't consider myself upper middle class by any means. I wasn't really lower middle. I mean, I was just a basic middle class.
Right in the middle.
Run the road. My parents weren't buying more than one house, like that wasn't even an option. But it is exposed, it's exposed me to all of that, but then it's also taught me that I can probably do that one. Like, the exposure of all the and people.
If they do it, I can do it.
Yeah, and different. I'm a people person. Like, I will say this right now: if you are not a people person, real estate's probably not for you, because you have to be a people person. You have to want and like relationships. If you don't like talking to people,
you have to know how to adapt to people, how to relate to people. Doesn't mean you have to like all of them, but you have to know how to communicate with them.
Well, that's
at
the whole
their
DISC
level.
thing. When I get in front of you, I need to know in my first 60 seconds what personality type am I talking to, and people love to talk about themselves, and I love to ask questions. And then they just kind of go, I started talking to a woman that she was outside of our brokerage, looking at the, we have our listings up on the wall, and I don't even remember what I said to her or something. It wasn't even real estate related, because that's how I usually start conversations anyway. And we started talking. And I said, oh, were you looking anywhere? Or you just kind of browsing? Well, anyway, one thing led to another. She wound up coming in the office. We just closed. We got 2 listings from her.
I just seen her the other day,
you
I had to give her bank statements.
I love her. And she just settled on a house. And it was like all that from one little conversation, because I think I asked something about her dog. And meanwhile, I got 2 listings and a closing. And we have a friendship. And that's the other thing I love. My clients, most of them.
Become your friends.
Become your friends. Like, I have I call them my grandparents.
I've hired them. I've hired clients
that you have. Yeah, it's great.
Crazy,
it's really, really, really good.
And it's the one thing when you talk about the DISC, I've been taking DISC since 2002. I want to say since Tony Robbins, because he's big on DISC.
Yes, it's important.
And I take it every few years just to check it, and I have never
changed.
I'm a 99D both naturally and unnaturally. Like
Wow.
But that hurts my D. Like naturally, I'm a 97I. So.
They usually say you usually have one major and one minor, and
correct.
And I will tell you, I've been taking that same test since I was 25 years old.
Does your D go down though?
55 years old. I've never gotten exact, so they're always pretty close. I've been a DI and an ID, but they're always the same, and they're always neck and neck. I would say I lean more towards an I now with the backup of a D.
I want to see yours. I'm going to send you mine.
Okay.
And I want to, because I used to have all my employees do it too,
Right.
so I could understand how they want to be communicated
Right.
with. So I know, because people want to be communicated with, and I think you're smart when you're looking at someone and you're trying to do, the mirror image thing. You're trying to figure out what makes this person tick.
What do they want? I mean, if you're a C personality, you want every detail of every
You want all
fact.
the
You want
details.
statistics. You don't really have a lot of emotion.
Get to the point.
Get to the point. Give me the bullet points, and I'm out.
You don't need to small talk
it's
me.
The S personality. It's like, I'm a nice person. I'm a kind person. I'm like, I can be all those things.
Yeah.
But when I'm in the mode, like, I forget of warm and fuzzies. How many times I send you a text and say, oh, by the way, good morning? Because I don't think in my mind.
I'm a D like you, so it doesn't even phase me, because I'm just like,
no, but
cool.
do that too. But send a personality that's an S that
Like
you
a
haven't
short-
talked
like
to
a
in
short
2
answer,
weeks,
yeah.
and say, hey, did you ever get an answer to that? And that's your only thing in the text that you enter. In their mind, it's like, wow, you didn't even say good morning. You haven't even asked me how I'm doing.
I know. I've been shooting videos now. Like you see, sometimes I'll send a text with a video because I find I have to be, because my natural state would be just shoot the text the way that the question. Right. You know what I mean? Without any feeling. Not that there's no feeling behind it.
I'm just trying to get. I'm trying to get answers.
Just trying to get my thing across. Where if I ask in a video, I'm purposefully smiling.
Right.
And I'm purposefully.
I do a lot of voice texts now. A lot of people don't like them, but I do a lot of them because they're just easier. Number one, I don't have time to sit there and type because half the words
you're driving
are wrong,
a lot of times.
I miss a word, and not only that. Like you just said, emotions in speak. So you get to hear my tone, you get to hear where I'm going with it. I get a lot more in a shorter amount of time, and I can get it all covered.
They can replay it.
And exactly, if you need to go back to it. I'd rather leave a voice text than a voicemail, just because the person's got to take the time to actually check it, go in, listen. If I said everybody's on the text, And here's the thing: people who don't like talking, they'll voice text me back. We'll have a complete conversation through voice texting, which I think is great because I prefer to talk. But I know you're not the kind of person that really likes to get on the phone and actually talk. So it actually works out better. So I do like that. So
we're over an hour. Believe that?
Oh God, yeah.
And listen, all this means to me is Dawn's gonna be back. Like we could do this all day, and really the first when I do the original ones, I like people to get to know you. And, we know what you do. We know that you're successful, right? Because you're going to give us, where people can find you, whether it's a website, your email, your phone number, you're going to tell them, everybody, how to do that. And that way they can find you on all the different social media sites. I mean, I use Facebook so much. Like, that's my favorite one. Like, I have to delete people now. I hate it.
Right. Oh, because there's not...
I'm at the 5,000, so it's
once you hit that, you're done. Yeah.
Oh, I'm like, there's got to be a better way.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm like, okay, who haven't I talked to forever and ever? And I'm like, I know them. And I'm like, do I really know them?
No, probably not, but you want to, because you want to put your stuff out there.
Well, that's an audience, right? You got a 5,000 plus.
You got to get all of that, and it's so funny because I'm sitting here looking at the itinerary. I'm like, wow, there's a whole lot of topics. We didn't. We can do them another time.
But we did get a lot. We got a lot. We got a lot of them. The one thing I really wanted to talk more is the real estate business and how that was going for you and stuff.
Yeah,
but
we can do that with Jen.
We'll do that with Jen.
Come back, but I think it would be.
I'm going to do one with Jen, right? Okay. We're going to do one with Jen, with her and I. So now when I bring you on as a team, people will know both of you and your stories. No, they both know your stories, and then they see the dynamic between it.
Yeah, that would be good. They'll see that. They would definitely see the.
They're like, I get it now, because they'll see yours.
You saw us together.
Hers.
Yep, you will definitely see the personalities.
All right, so I'm going to pass this to you, Dawn. Tell everybody that's watching how they can find you, where they should look to find you.
Okay, should I look at the camera? Well,
you can look at the camera.
You can find me on Facebook. I'm on my regular page, Dawn Tillett. Everything that I have is under Dawn Tillett. We have Facebook, Instagram. I have a TikTok page. Jen and I are getting ready to launch our own business TikTok and YouTube. So That's to come.
Nice.
You can find me if you're looking for houses, or you thought about moving to Florida, or you don't know if you want to move to Florida, or is the Gulf Coast for me. One, you can reach out and call me anytime at 941-315-5949, or you can go to my website, DawnSellsParadise.com.
I like that.
That's
Dawn
it.
sells paradise. We live in paradise. Well,
I really believe that. Yeah,
we
I
do. Well, I just want to say thank you for everybody. Thank you for coming on. This has been
for
fun.
having
It's
me.
always so much fun,
I
like, you know,
know.
getting to hear more about you. I mean, we've had a good conversation prior to this, but now diving in, it's always more. There's more.
Oh, there's
more.
always
there's
more, yeah.
And I know there's even more than this. So thanks for tuning in. This is Chris Galley, Mortgage Matters with the Galley Llama. Remember that. That's my tagline.
Oh, and I want to post. I work for Exit King. Exit
yes.
King Realty. I do want to put that out
That's
there.
it. All right, excellent. So stay tuned for this. We look forward to seeing you. If you're done business with me, or you have something really cool here, especially here in Southwest Florida, where you can come to the studio, I'd love to have you on as a guest or talk to you and see if it's a good fit. And just remember, make it a great day, a great life, and God bless. Thanks.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Because you know what else we need to do next time is I was waiting for those rapid fire questions, but we didn't have any
I
time
know.
for it.